This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studio. This is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I am John Deloney, joined here by best-selling author, brilliant friend, and a pretty good mom, Miss Rachel Cruz. Hope you're doing well, Rachel.
John, always good to be with you.
You're pretty good at it.
I'm pretty good. Give me like a 6 out of 10, you know.
I wasn't going to go 6. I was going to go 5. 6 is on the other side.
Being generous.
But you're doing pretty good.
Thank you.
You're doing pretty good. So we're gonna take your calls. If you got relationship questions, money questions, marriage questions, whatever, anything and everything in between, give us a shout at 888-825-5225. It's 888-825-5225. Rachel, how we doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
We had a fun little chat right before we got on the air.
Yeah.
Should we do it?
Yeah.
Okay. So John and I. So again, we'll take all your questions: money, relationships, marriage, parenting, and both of our sets of kids. Obviously, we always talk about kids, and they're just funny. Kids are funny. They're crazy and wild, and they're funny. So we said, okay, let's do 2 truths and a lie from just this week. Things your kids have said.
Okay, go first.
Do I do all 3?
Yeah.
Okay. Might have like just a little bit of commentary with each one.
Bring it.
So is this a truth or lie? Yesterday, I went to get in the van, and my 3-year-old Caroline had a Sharpie and drew on the seat of our van. And I went through and told her that Mom was frustrated. I mean, I was mad. I was like, Caroline, frustrated and angry. I was like, Mom, and Caroline, I'm not mad that like the stuff is ruined. Stuff is going to get lost. Stuff is going to break. Stuff is going to get ruined in our lives. Our joy is not in our stuff. It's the fact that Mommy and Daddy work really hard, and Mom's about to leave for work, to work really hard to make money, to buy things in our lives, nice things like this van. This was very expensive. This was a lot of money. And we want to take care of our things. And the 3-year-old looks at me and says, I want a snack.
I'm going to go with the truth on that one.
Truth, yeah. Number 2, we moved Caroline from a crib to a big girl bed 3 weeks ago. One night we tried keeping her in the room with a lot of different theories of how to keep her in. Yeah. And she appeared outside or beside our bed 5 times in one night. And the last time I said, Caroline, you have to stay in your room. And she looked at me. She said, I will always get out.
If you know Rachel, that came directly from your soul. You've recreated yourself. Congratulations. That's for sure true.
Actually, that was a false.
It was?
The story's all true, but she didn't say that. She just kept coming down.
Oh, man.
Oh, I won. I won.
You did win.
And then the last truth was walking to school 3 days ago. It's all Caroline stories.
Yes.
And we had to cross the sidewalk, across the street to walk to school, and she refused to move. And I'm in the middle with all this, school traffic, people and I'm like, I have Charles in the stroller. I'm like, we have to go, Caroline, come on. And she just stood there. I will not come. And I was like, why are you protesting me right now? There's all these people looking at us. Please come. So she did say that.
A fellow Enneagram 8 in your life makes me happy.
Oh my gosh.
Because that's what the Cruz/Ramsey family needs is another one.
It's another challenger
it's
in
so
our
good.
lives because we don't have one in the family. Yeah.
Okay, so here's
yours,
mine.
Go.
So we're pretty routine driven in my house just because my wife has to live with me, and so every night we're putting Josephine to get bed and my son Hank, and I told Josephine I was by myself this night because Sheila was bringing Hank home from the Little League game, and I told her, hey, go brush your teeth, and then I'm going to come in and kiss you goodnight.
Yeah.
And so I started walking in there, and she was hanging on her bunk bed, and I walked in, and she said, hey, Daddy, when you come in to kiss me, I'm going to jump off this and kick you in the face.
That is true. I remember Josephine.
Yeah, that super happened. Okay, and that hurt my feelings for a second. Like, why are you going to kiss me in the face? And then I actually thought, right then in her room, one day, somebody's going to lean in
and say, I want to kiss you.
I'm going to kiss you. And she's going to remember, nope, I'm going to kick you in the face. Or I said, hey, Josephine, come here. I've got to brush your hair. And she's like, no. And I said, Josephine, please come here so we can brush your hair. Like, we've got to do this. And she looked at me with this, like, tearful frustration. And she said, and I quote, "But Daddy, I'm an owl." I had no response to that. I didn't know what to say.
That's so something a kid would say. So I don't know.
It's true. That
I would think. Okay, so now it's a lie. But go. What was your lie?
Oh no, I just had 3 truths. I don't know how to play this game.
It's
the 3 truths. Okay, the lie is she looked at me and said, "Daddy, you're the best." That's the lie.
That was the lie.
That's the lie.
Mom, you're the greatest mom in the entire world.
She did.
We love everything you do.
She did, and my daughter's 5, by the way. She did come in the other day and say, "Hey, Dad, I just need you to, Daddy, Mommy's my favorite parent." To which I was like, "That's great. She's clearly the best." And then she said, "And I love Hank more than you." And I said, "You know what? He's great." And then she said, "And I love Stella more than you," who, by the way, is our dog. Stella's the dog. And it's cool, man. It's cool. None of these, we talked about none of this in grad school, by the way. It's ridiculous. That's it.
God love it. Okay.
No,
yep. So we're
he
great
doesn't.
at parenting, obviously. So just ask.
So going back to the original comment, Rachel's pretty good at this.
Yeah.
I, on the other hand, am not. Okay, so we are taking your calls on life, and we're taking your calls on money. We're taking your calls on anything that you want to talk about. 888-825-5225. Rachel, in all seriousness, you have your oldest one's 5, is that right?
Just turned 6.
Just turned 6.
Yeah, a few weeks ago.
And you've all the way down to, how old's Charles now?
18 months.
18 months. What's the biggest shocker for you? Like your pre-picture, the picture you had of this is what life is going to be like with 3 kids. Now you've got 3, 6 to 18 months.
It's just amazing how 3 kids can feel like 21 kids to me.
Yes.
So like 1 kid, I've realized it's so unfortunate because when you have your first kid, you're stressed out. You don't know what you're doing. And you're like, oh, the questions, am I doing this right? So you are stressed. When you look back, you're like, it's like an accessory. Like 1 kid is like, just put it on my hip and just go.
Yeah.
I can go. 2 kids, you're like, all right, this is like the deal. Like you gotta figure out. And then you just throw that 3rd one in and suddenly they just multiply.
Yeah, when you go from man to man to zone, it gets all harder.
It's been intense. It's been intense. So
what's your favorite part of having 3 kids?
I love, obviously we can't control this, but I love that I've had each gender. So the 2 girls and then a boy.
Yeah.
So I love, as a mom, my heart towards Charles is so different than the girls. Like you just feel this difference.
You love your son more than your daughters?
A little bit. I mean, he's kind of my favorite right now. He's so
hey, James and Kelly, if you'll clip that and just send it to me.
No, I'm kidding, girls. If you listen to this in 30 years, it's a joke.
No, they're going to listen to it this weekend, so I'm going to send it to them. If y'all will clip that, that'd be fantastic.
No, but I don't know. I didn't think my heart, it's amazing that your heart just, whether boy or girl, each kid, you're like, oh my gosh, I still would literally jump in front of a car for you right now. Like that, I would, it's amazing.
The pre-kid thing for me was this idea that, it's going to be an accessory. It's going to be a thing to do. If I had known then what I know now, which is I had another level in my heart for capacity for love. I didn't know that existed.
Yes, yeah.
And all of a sudden you look at this kid and then they start talking to you and they start laughing with you. And suddenly, you've got this whole other part of you that I didn't know existed.
Totally.
And I love it.
It's awesome.
I love it. And by the way, you can have both my kids if you like them too. Hey, we're taking your calls on life and money. 888-825-5225. This is John Deloney with my good friend Rachel Cruz, and we'll be right back here on The Ramsey Show.
What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices, and they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings.
Show. I'm John Deloney, joined here with best-selling author Rachel Cruz, and we're taking your calls on life and money at 888-825-5225. Let's go to Matthew in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Matthew, what's going on?
Hey, how you guys doing? Thanks for taking my call.
You bet. What's going on, man? How can we help?
Yes. So I'm trying to make a long story short. I'm just trying to get the best advice, just coming from my heart and everything. But me and my wife, we've been married 6 years. In the last about 3 or 4 years of wanting to do the baby steps, she has been very, she will agree to things, we'll set an agreement, and then she will just break the agreement. Now she's getting very house hungry. So I am been wanting to pay off debt and then get an emergency fund and get a house. I've been even willing to compromise, go 50-50. She'll agree to it, and then she'll change her mind. And then when I ask her about it, she'll tell me, you can do whatever you would like to do.
So what's your question, man?
So I guess just on how to, as far as what to do in this situation, as far as just be getting more on the same page with life and money goals.
Yeah.
Just for the reason I've tried everything, and I feel like I am sort of at the end of my rope because I just feel like we can never compromise.
Yeah. So Matthew, for her, when you guys set something together and she says, okay, yeah, I'll do that, and then she doesn't do it, what is her main reason for not doing it? And what are the goals? Is it she's not living on a budget? Is it that you want to pay off this debt and you need this amount of money in the bank to do that, but then she spends it? Like, what are the things that you're trying to do that she is saying she will do and then she doesn't?
So we have wrote out a budget together. She agrees that looks good. That looks good. But then she'll come back to me and say, I don't really like the budget. I will give her, I'll give her like $100 more spending than me. I'm very generous of what I'm doing, just to work together more. But she just comes back at me and says, I don't want to do it. I can't live my life like this.
And why, Matthew? Why can she not do? Why? Is it because she wants to spend whatever she wants? She doesn't want you to be accountable to you? Why?
She feels very controlling, even though I say it's not being controlling. It's about controlling our money, of where it's going so that we can reach our goals.
Well, I'll be curious what you say, because even Matthew, I'll be on her side for just a split second, Matthew, because I even heard you say, I give her an extra $100, Yeah. So
you have a pronoun problem there, Matt. That this is this is your house and your money that you're willing to share with her if she'll get on board with you. And that may not be what's happening, but that's the language you're using. And it was enough that me and Rachel both went, ugh, right? Is this happening in other areas of your life besides a budget?
Yeah, there's been some trust issues with me. I've been going to therapy for it. I started having feelings for a coworker, more of like a work wife type of thing. I've gone to therapy for it. I feel like that's another part where she can't forgive me. Nothing physically happened, but just having those feelings for that. So I think that was another big issue. And so I've been working on it.
Well, my guess here is that was fruit that was grown on a tree of a relationship that's had cracks and fissures and all sorts of communication challenges and unmet needs, and all. We could unpack that all day. At the end of the day, it sounds like your wife has had to do what many, many folks in relationships have to do, or feel they have to do, is they start creating an alt universe for their own safety, for their own space, because they don't feel safe where they're at. They either don't have trust in their partner, they don't feel like that their husband or wife is telling the truth, they're going to be there for them, whatever the narrative may be. They've just got to start creating another universe. And then when somebody like you shows up once a month and says, hey, here's how you're going to spend your money, man, she's already created another world. And so what I would tell you is your marriage is on life support right now. Not because you did because you had a a relationship with somebody at work, but because, man, there's deep-seated challenges in the roots of this thing. And it's you're going to focus on that particular issue. You're going to focus on the fact that your budget's not – all of that is fruit of a tree that's dying. Okay? And so what I want to tell you is y'all need to get into counseling together. And not for you to go work on a thing. Y'all need to get there together and get to the bottom of your relational disconnection there, brother. This is an issue that sounds like it's about money. It's not. It's about something way deeper.
That's what I was going to say. It's amazing how many life problems, marriage problems masquerade themselves as money problems, right? It's not a budget problem. And Matthew, you hit it right on the head, and I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah,
I
it's a
appreciate
vulnerable
you
move,
just
man.
saying it, because I know the regret in your voice of the decisions you made. But it is a process. Lisa Turkhurst, I heard her say with forgiveness, it's a decision and a process.
There you go.
You can decide to do it, but man, it can be a process. And as John said, I mean, yes, going to therapy together will be huge. And for her to go on her own, she has a road that she has to heal on, Matthew. I mean, like that is very real. And you do as well. So there's just a lot of work to do under the surface. And then the beautiful thing is the fruit of that, when you guys work on that together, separate and then together in the marriage, then things like a money issue or a parenting issue come up and you're on the same team. But you're not going to be able to get, at this point, a budget together and working together on your money. It's probably not going to happen. Yeah. It's not going to happen soon. You guys have to work on your marriage first.
So I get this question a lot, Rachel, on my show. I want to walk you through, Matthew, what this is going to look like. This is going to look like you telling your wife, hey, I want to have a conversation about a future, and it's a positive one. That way she doesn't think, oh, no, what's coming. And I want to do that tomorrow night. I want to do that tomorrow morning. I like morning meetings because people aren't tired. I like breakfast ones. Some people, Anthony O'Neill, our buddy, likes to have dinner, hard conversations. And I want you to take your wife out somewhere that you get out of the side of your house. It's a new environment. It's a new context. And I want you to tell her, I love you and I want this marriage to work, and I think there's a lot of challenges that are all through this thing. Would you be willing to go to counseling with me, to go see somebody, and not that we got to fix this and fix that, that's broken, I need you to do this better, but no, we need to get to the bottom of this thing and say, how can we excavate what was, because y'all got to build something new. The analogy is always the Twin Towers, right? You can't take all that glass and twisted metal and rebuild those same towers with those materials. You got to clean the whole thing out, get an architect, get new engineers, design something beautiful and new that's actually stronger than what was, right? So this is a cool moment, but it's a hard moment. And see if she is willing to rebuild something from the floor up with you, man, from the basement up.
And I would say it's an encouraging process, even though it's a lot of work. So you can say this on the marriage, and you can say this with your money. Those of you listening that want to do better with your money, man, it is a process to learn new habits, to learn new skills, to learn new ways of communication, to learn, on the budget, on the money side, how to budget. I mean, it's all these things that you're learning that are new.
You got to grieve the crap and mistakes you did in the past.
100%.
Right?
Yes. The shame and the guilt are going to keep kind of knocking on the door and dealing with that. But gosh, the work, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of pain. It's a lot of being uncomfortable. It's not fun all the time, but you're doing good work. Like, just because it's hard doesn't mean it's wrong.
Almost the reverse. The harder it gets, the more you know.
Yes, and the depth of the change, Matthew, in your marriage, and then as a result, working as a team and winning financially is just like a cherry on top, right? As kind of a branch off of that, it's a beautiful thing. And all of you listening, that's the story. That's why we do the Ramsey Show, is for redemption. Whether it's your marriage, your parenting, your money, you can change the way you've been doing things for the better.
You can take those bricks out of your backpack that you carry, and you can begin to pave a new road with them. And that road is what your kids are going to walk on. That's what your community is going to walk on. This stuff isn't lost. I love that word, redeem. You redeem that nonsense from the past. Man, you build something totally new. So Matthew, ball's in your court, brother. Hope you'll take her out tonight, take her out tomorrow, and say, if you're all in, I'm all in. And we're going to do this together. And it's going to start with you and me going to counseling and building something new. Thanks for your call, man. Thanks for your vulnerability and your bravery. We'll be right back on The Ramsey Show. the Ramsey Show, and on the debt-free stage is David and Courtney, and it doesn't look like, there's only one reason y'all are on that stage. You're debt-free.
Yes.
Congrats, guys. Amazing. So tell us your story. How much debt have you guys paid off?
So my now husband, we just got married Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah. Is this your honeymoon?
It is.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I'm so...
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, I found the Financial Peace University was offered through my work, and I was like, okay, this is great. And he's actually in the financial realm, so he's been telling me all these finance tips and stuff. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. And then I found the financial peace, and I started to go to these classes, and I was like, oh my gosh, David, you don't understand, like, these are so cool. He's like, I've literally been telling you these things. I'm like, yeah, but he said it in a way that I understood. And I was like, I like it because, like, the Dave Ramsey program not just only told me how to manage my money, but like how God told us how we should manage our money.
So how much did you pay off?
$13,075.
And how long did it take you?
11 months.
Girl, you did it.
months.
Yeah.
Crushed
In
it.
less than a month, you're
Yeah.
like, I'm doing it.
Oh yeah, actually it was supposed to take a lot longer, but it was just, being diligent, putting anything that came our way towards it. It was money came up in ways I didn't think of, like Christmas or, birthday, stuff like that you don't think about. It was just, oh, here's another $200. Here's another $200. And it actually cut back the time to take to pay off by like 6 months.
Oh,
almost.
wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? I've heard so many people on the stage or doing these calls say that. They say, and then I got a raise, or then I ended up with this amount of money. Like, it's just, it's so interesting. And I feel like that can happen in our life, but when we're not intentional with it, it just kind of
Exactly.
floats by. But the fact you had a plan, you're like, oh, no, I get to put this here, and it just fast forwards
It
the
did,
whole
yeah.
timeline.
How much were you making? What was your salary over this time?
So I started making $17,000 roughly, and then I did get a promotion during that time also, and I made up to $32,000. And actually 2 months after I paid off all my debt, I got another promotion.
Amazing. Oh, congrats, Courtney.
Thank
That's
you.
so great. So you did this all on your own, because obviously you guys just got married
yeah.
a few days ago, which is just wild. Oklahoma City, is that where the wedding and everything was?
It was more closer to Tulsa.
Okay. Awesome.
That's where she's from.
Okay,
and
amazing.
so, David, for the last year or two, you've been the second David in her life, right?
Yes. Number 2 to Dave.
Right? You're a financial guy. You've been saying all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then this other Dave shows up and speaking into her other ear. Tell us how you've walked alongside her during this.
So we've been each other's accountability partners through it. So while she was walking through it, I was walking through it myself as well. So we both ended up debt-free. I have a little bit bigger shovel. So while she was working through her baby step number 2, I was working through 3 and number 4. And so right now, when she got married, we're now on 4, 5, and 6.
Oh.
Wow.
Amazing, you guys. That is so exciting. What a way to start off a marriage, too.
Yeah.
So for you, because you were planning a wedding
Yes.
while getting out of debt. So what was the hardest part of this past year for you?
I think the hardest part was really trusting my future and now spouse to save for the things that I thought were going to be important, when he understood that, all right, I'm going to have to put more money towards the wedding because she can't right now. So it was like that was the most stressful part, was I only had 2 to 3 months of saving to pay for the wedding. Most of it was he was doing by himself. So it was a lot of trust there.
Yeah, for
And our parents
sure.
were very generous, and
they
we
did help.
got to save, and we actually got paying for our honeymoon on cash. And
Yeah, cash flowed the entire thing.
Amazing. So a year ago, as you started this, what changed in your heart? I know you said you took Financial Peace University, a few things clicked, but like, what was the bottom line of like, okay, I can hear things and it can sound great, but to actually do it is a different level of commitment.
So it's a bigger thing to hold the whole solution is eventually I want to be a stay-at-home mom, and that's something that we were really thinking and talking about is like, I want to stay at home, but I can't do that with $13,000 of debt and having one income. So this was the biggest deciding thing, is like, I want to have kids and I want to be able to raise them up, and I want to be able to teach them the teachings that we are brought up on, and we don't have them yet, but one day we will, and we're going to be able to do it in a way that's not a burden to either one of us.
So huge. Having that why for people in this journey is like one of the most important things, and that's a very honorable why. I love that.
So when people listen to Debt Free Screams or watch them, I know they often think, oh my gosh, I don't make $170,000. You made $17,000 for part of this journey, and you topped out at a whopping 32, right?
Yeah.
What would you tell people the key to getting out of debt is? Because you made it happen
Yeah.
with a hard salary.
It is not a math problem. You know, that's what Dave says in the financial piece. It's not. It's I'm going to do this, and I'm going to figure out a way how. And it does. It happens. And I don't know who or where I heard this from, but it's like you've been trying to do so much with 100% of your income, but then like when you give God 10%, like he can do so much with 10%, and you could have done with 100. Like he just makes a way that if you're being diligent and you're just doing what you're supposed to do, one foot in front of the other, it happens. I can't explain it. I don't know how, but it just does.
Who are your biggest cheerleaders?
Definitely my now husband.
The other David. Way to go, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think Khalees Matt, she's the one that got us into a financial piece as a couple.
Yeah, as a couple, because our church offered it after I had just finished, and she is not just only on fire for the Lord, but on fire for like just being compassionate towards people and, you know, giving them away, like preaching the message of hope. So she was a huge cheerleader, and so I hope she's going to be watching this later.
And so as a young couple, talking to couples who have been doing this for a long time or who are thinking about getting married or have a wedding coming up, tell them what it's like to be cash flowing your honeymoon, and then you're going to land back at home completely debt-free, starting this new adventure together.
It's like really, when I got here, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what we've been working for. This is the dream. We're doing it. It was really stressful and really hard, and there was a lot of times where I did want to quit, and I would just kind of log on to the website, hear some other people give some words of encouragement. Like, it's worth it at the end. It's definitely worth it. Do you have anything to add?
No, it was just awesome. Like, you know, to do whatever we want and how we wanted it, and not have to worry about having a bill to pay at the end of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we've talked about how it's not just math, right? You said that a couple of times in this call, which is so true. So quickly, give me like one or two adjectives of emotions of how you felt in debt, and then how you feel right now standing on the stage. Because again, it's not just the math that works in your favor now, because you don't have debt, but there's an emotional change too.
I would say, like, being in debt, it was always trying to think of like the next thing, like always feeling behind. You can't get caught up. And then being on the other side of it, like we have the chance. We have a chance now. Like, we have a hope, and we can do things that we've only ever talked about.
Yes. I love that.
All right, so this is the big moment. We got David and Courtney, mostly Courtney, but David joined here at the end from Oklahoma City, paid off $13,075 in 11 months, doing their debt-free scream. Count it down.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free! So awesome.
I love it. Oh.
A newlywed couple, cash flowed the wedding, cash flowing the honeymoon.
Which people say is impossible.
It's not real.
They think
can't be done, right?
There's no way. Man, and starting off marriage on the same page, what a gift.
And starting off their debt-free journey making $17,000. That's the one I can't wrap my head around, right? I would have lost. I would even have tried.
I know, right?
Right? It takes a lot of courage to say, I don't care what my starting line is. I'm just going to start chipping away at this thing.
And she killed it. She paid off $13,000. I know she got bumped up to 32 in the middle of it, but I mean, it's amazing.
And I have to believe.
You're amazing.
I have to believe that when you start getting intentional, however small it is, 17 grand, your boss notices your intentionality, your spouse, your boyfriend, girlfriend notices your intentionality, your friends, your community, and then suddenly you become somebody that they want to do business with, they want to work with, they want to be in a relationship with, because it's just intentionality breeds intentionality. Good for you, David and Courtney. Debt-free, paying it off, rock stars. This is The Ramsey Show. This is The Ramsey Show. I'm John Deloney, joined with best-selling author Rachel Cruz, taking your calls on life and money. Give us a call at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Let's go to Joseph in Hattiesburg. Joseph, what is going on?
Well, I am in a bind. I'm 20 years old. I own 2 businesses as well as an eBay business. One's a startup with a snow cone stand. Will be open here soon. But the big one is my vending business. I'm $179,000 in debt. That's down from $250,000 this time last year. My question to you is, since I'm barely making it through, I mean, there's bills I have not been able to pay this year and parts of last year. I have a CD as well as an IRA account worth between the two $142,000. Would it be smart for me to cash out that CD, sell my stock, pay off the big owner finance loan, which is $107,000, save that $20,000 in interest, and be able to manage those payments better at that time after selling?
Okay, Joseph, a couple of questions. You said you have $142,000 in CDs and an IRA, correct?
Yes.
And how much?
$64,000 in the CD.
Say again.
The $64,000 in the CD, and then the $79,000 in the IRA.
Okay. And then tell me the rest of your debt that you have, even personal debt. So car loans, credit cards, student loans.
Sure. I have a full ride to college, so I don't have any student loans, thank the Lord. But I have $107,000 in owner finance in the vending business. I owe the bank through other business loans $63,000, and then I have $9,000 in minor debt, lawyers, CPA, a couple other things.
Okay. Whew, Joseph. So what made you get in? You're 20 years old, you said, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So you're.
You saw the opportunity and you just ran off the other side of the cliff.
What caused you to get into almost $200,000 of business debt?
Well, I actually bought my first business when I was 16. It was a little gumball business, bought it for $8,000. Brought in like $1,000 every 3 months. It was just a starting point. And then right before the pandemic in 2019, in October, I saw a business for sale for over $250,000. I think it was $200,500. I cannot talk. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
$250,000. And I jumped on the opportunity. I was able to get him to owner finance, which is the only reason I was able to get it. Of course, I don't have really a line of credit at this time.
Okay.
But I've always loved doing things like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what income are you making currently?
I'm putting everything into it. I have a personal job on top of this business. I'm bringing in about $50,000 a year.
50?
Right under $50,000. Yes, ma'am.
50.
But that mainly goes to personal expenses of living, rent, etc.
But what do you make? What do you make total a year? How much will you make this year? 50 or more?
Slightly less than 50.
Slightly less than 50. Okay.
And that's gross, huh? So my guess is you're a smooth talker, and so you're going to make $50,000, but you're going to take home half that?
Roughly, yes, sir.
Okay. So, Joseph, what I would do if I were you, I would not touch the IRA because you're going to pay taxes on that when you cash it out early. Sure. Because you're not at retirement age. So I wouldn't touch that. I would cash out everything else. The CD I would cash out today of $64,000. Any other money you have, I would cash out. I would leave $1,000 for an emergency fund, and I would throw everything else at this debt. And the beautiful thing is the $9,000 and the 63. I know you only have 64, but you could probably get these two paid off fairly quickly, considering you have 64,000 in that CD, and then that 107,000. I mean, that's equivalent to people's student loans, right? I mean, like people, that's a student loan we hear on the show a lot. So with your income, you're a hustler, which I love. Like you work hard, you find the way to make deals. Like you can make things happen. And so I want you to be able to do that with your income. I want you to expand your income. I want you to work like crazy because you're not in school, correct? I want to make sure I got that.
I am in school. I'm a full-time student, 15 hours.
Are in school. Okay, I'm so sorry. I missed that. Yep. So for you, but you have a scholarship. So I would say, I mean, yeah, I would. How much longer do you have to graduate?
I have 2 years.
2 more years. Okay. Then I'm sorry, I'm going to change my answer, Joseph. I think I would pause on this and I would get through school. I think your priority right now is to get through debt free, even though you have a scholarship and all of that, but just in case life happens that you're not accruing more debt, getting out of school. And then the bills that you can't pay right now, you could cash out that CD and put money towards that to at least get caught up so you're not behind. And then once you graduate, I would go aggressive on all of this then. And that way you're not spending time in school, you can go make more money because you have more time, all of that. So again, I'll say it. I would pause, I would get through school, I would cash out some of that CD to stay current on your debt. And then I would just go nuts after graduation and just start paying all this off.
And hey, Joseph.
Absolutely.
Joseph.
Yes, sir.
You are a hustler,
yes,
right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you got out hustled here because you played with the big kids, right? With
yes,
bankers and with private loans, and you saw opportunities and you got hit in the mouth. This has to be your moment where you say, I will never, ever, ever borrow money again. You are too smart. You're clearly smart. You got a full ride to college. You're too smart and you're too driven and you've got too much to add to this world to spend that energy that you could be contributing to the communities that my kids are going to grow up in. You got too much to offer to spend that time shoveling crap from mistakes that you made in the past. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
So here's the deal, Joseph. I need you. I need your mind. I need your hustle. I need your solution-oriented brain to not borrow any more money ever again.
I'm with you. I totally agree.
Got it. Good. If you can learn that lesson as a 20-year-old, you've won life, right? You've won. You've won. If you roll it over and you need to learn it again when you're 24, and then you're 32, and then you're 38. And I'll tell you, Rachel, for somebody like Joseph, that's a drug. The next deal's a drug, and this thing's gonna haunt him for a season, unless he goes scorched earth like Dave did. No matter what, never again.
No, it's a great point because again, it's that itch that you're going to want to scratch, Joseph. It's in your personality. You're like, I'm like, put numbers on a sheet of paper. I'm like, this is like, not even 30-year-olds have this situation, right? I'm like, and you're 20, so obviously your brain is just going. And you're talented and you're smart and all of that, but putting that energy, just like you said, towards something good, I'm like, you could become wealthy so quickly with the amount of work ethic and the way your brain thinks. If you just don't mess with it, don't mess with it. And
you can cripple your family tree if you go the other direction, right? It reminds me of somebody who's like people who go to Vegas once a year or once every 5 years, and they like to play blackjack a little bit, and they take $100 and play blackjack. They don't, and that's most people. They don't have a frame of reference for somebody who is a gambling addict who will be walking into a building and see somebody and say, hey, I bet you that, I bet I can throw this rock farther. It becomes part of you. And this is a guy looking at Craigslist for deals, looking at, listening to conversations in a coffee shop looking for deals. This is in his soul, man. And someone's always going to be willing to loan him money, and he's just going to have to wrestle with it. Hey, I want to go back, Rachel, really quick before the break. Well, you know what? We're done with the break. We're going to have to wait till the next hour. They got lucky, good folks.
James is like, I can't wait.
I know, he can't wait.
Go.
Hey, thank you so much, Rachel. We got 1 hour in the books here, and we'll be back soon right here on The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Kelly, associate producer and phone screener for The Ramsey Show. If you would like to do your debt-free screen live on the show, make sure you visit The Ramsey Show. We would love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studio. This is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your money and your life. I am John Deloney, joined here by my good friend, best-selling author, awesome mom and friend, Rachel Cruz, and we are taking your calls on anything and everything, money, life, however we can help. Give us a shout at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Let's go to Victoria in Orlando. Victoria, what's going on?
Hi, John. Hi, Rachel. It's such a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you so much for taking my call.
You bet. How can we help?
So I'm getting finances in order and planning out. I've arranged my active debts in the debt snowball and have been chipping away at that. So in a matter of months, I should be completing my debt snowball.
Amazing.
Now I'm trying to. Oh, thank you. All thanks to you guys. Thanks. So what I'm trying to do now is plan for two debts that I have that are currently in collection since 2019, and they've been bought by a few companies between then and now. One is worth about $1,400, and the other is worth about $1,000. So I'm trying to plan to see for when I'm ready to tackle those, what is a good percentage of it to offer, since I know that they buy it for pennies on the dollar, that is not too much on my wallet, but also enough leverage to pay it off, but also negotiate for them to get it off my credit reports.
Okay, how much other debt do you have? You said you're doing your debt. Yeah.
So with the debt snowball, the credit card debt I have is, let's see, 2001, and then 1,000 on the other. So in a couple of months, I should be able to knock that out.
Okay. And how much do you make a year?
I recently got a new job. So salary a year, it's about $30,000.
Okay. And the debt that are in collections, the two debts, what kind of debts are they?
The one for $1,400 is with it's with a cell phone company, T-Mobile. I lost my job at that time, so I fell behind on payments, and they brought it to collections. And then the one that's worth $1,000 is from an apartment where I wasn't able to pay the post move out costs right away, and so that went to collections.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so when you're dealing with this stuff, I mean, like you said, these companies are bought constantly, right? They buy each other and they're passed to one person to the other, and it's these guys in cubicles with headsets basically calling and, collecting this debt. So the truth is, you can do pennies on the dollar. I would say to find an amount for you, because they're such ankle biters. Like it's $1,400, it's $1,000. Like it's these smaller amounts, right? We're not talking about 20 grand or something.
Right.
So there's a level that, you owe this money, this is debt. And now that you're in a stable position, you can still negotiate for sure. But it's enough to say, I feel good to offer this amount. So whether it's, I don't know, $300, $400, and see what they give you. You can always just throw out the numbers, right, and talk about it. So there's like this balance in my head of, negotiate, get it less, get it in writing once they agree upon it, all of that. Okay. And then from there, though, the fact that you have a stable income and you owe this debt, there's a level that I'm like, man, would it feel good just to pay the debt? Like you owe the debt, you have the money. You're working it, putting in that snowball and just getting it out and just paying what you owe as well. Do you know what I mean? Like if you were on the brink, if you didn't have a job, if you had multiple debts and collections, big amounts of debt, I mean, all of this, the whole idea of negotiating and all of that, I'm like, yes, to get you out of this hole. But you're working a plan, Victoria. You have control for the first time in a long time, it sounds like, from just the tone of your voice. And you're going to be completely debt-free so soon. So there's a part of me, Victoria, that there's a little bit of dignity to say, hey, I owe this. And I can pay it. This $1,000, like I can pay it. You can negotiate if that's what you choose to do, and they'll probably take a lower amount to settle. But there's something in me, I don't know, Victoria, of paying off what you owe. You know.
That's how I take on it, Rachel, and I love negotiating and haggling. Our friend Anthony used to be a debt collector, and he said, call at the end of the month because they're trying to close out their books, and you can say, hey, I'll give you this. You send me an in-writing agreement right now. We'll get this paid. And yeah, right, $300, $400. And then there's the other side that who cares how many times it's been sold? You owe that dollar amount. And I always like to go back to the dignity. Paying the debt is my responsibility, right? I'm going to make this payment, and there's something about that standing tall. I owe this money. I'm going to pay it. I don't care who I'm paying it to. That's not the point. The point is I'm going to pay what I owe.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. So Victoria, I don't think it's a bad call if you decide to negotiate, get a lower amount, do it. But also, I think thinking through just for yourself and your own conscience and your story of that. There's just power. There's power in that. I'm gonna say this because I don't know if I can I don't know. Dad's story of bankruptcy. Yeah. He went back years later
and paid those guys back. Yeah.
And there's something about that. And again, I don't think he publicly talks about that very often, but he does. Okay. I was like, I don't think it's a secret. But he did, because I mean,
but it haunted him, right?
He didn't know it, but there's that, I don't know, that piece of the morality of, man, I said I would pay this money back. Yeah. And again, legally you don't have to, all of that, but there's something to the soul of money, this emotional side of money that is very real. And there's a freedom to know I gave my word to someone and I'm going to complete that. Yeah. Even if it's years later.
I'm with you. And student loans me and my wife, we ended up with 6 figures of student loans, a lot, right? We had a whole bunch of degrees, a whole bunch of debt. And I love the idea of the philosophy of, it'd be cool if the government came in and wiped them all away for me. And I honestly, at 17, 18, 19, I didn't know what I was signing.
I know, right.
But I also came back to, man, I put my name on a piece of paper that said, if you'll help me get through college, whoever you are, I'll pay you back. And there was a grind, and it was awful, and we had to do all this. But, man, I get to hold my head up high, saying we figured it out how to do it, and it was miserable. And I also know there's systems that trap. I get all that. But there's something about I love that part of Dave's story, that he quietly went behind closed doors, no fanfare, and said, hey, I owe you this money, and I'm going to pay you. There's something remarkable about that. Speaking of, are you tired of feeling stuck with your money, like you'll never get out of debt or save for the future? Listen, it doesn't have to be that way. Go to Ramsey Plus, get a Ramsey Plus membership. You'll get access to the premium version of their Every Dollar app. It's the one me and Rachel use in our personal lives. Plan out every dollar, connect your budget to your bank so you never miss a transaction, get custom budget reports. You can do it all starting today, and you're going to make progress fast. For a free trial of Ramsey Plus, text TRIAL to 33789. That's TRIAL to 33789. We're not just trying to sell you something. This is the stuff that Rachel and myself, we all use this. TRIAL to 33789. Start making progress today. We'll be right back on The Ramsey Show.
Hey folks, I got a great option to help you pay for your education. The Army National Guard. The Army National Guard believes you are the next greatest generation because you have proven that even in adversity, that you have what it takes to succeed. That's why they offer benefits like tuition assistance, career training, and a paycheck to help you avoid debt. No matter what your goals are, the Army National Guard can help you get there. Visit nationalguard.com to find out more.
This is The Ramsey Show. Glad you're with us. I'm John Deloney, joined here with Rachel Cruz, and we're taking your calls on life and money. 888-825-5225. It's 888-825-5225. Let's go to Kelly in Buffalo, New York. Kelly, what's going on?
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just wanting to ask you about a car that I'm trying to get. So I'm in college right now, and I'm going to be finished come the end of summer because I'm doing an accelerated program.
Very cool.
And for my job, I need to get a car because I'm doing a lot of like transporting stuff. I'll be driving other people around, and I need to get one soon. Mm-hmm. I have about $10,000 saved up because I have again school paid off, and I don't want to put all my money into a car because then my insurance will be higher and stuff. So I'm just wondering, like, what do I like? Should I put half of it into financing a used car with low interest, or do I just put all of it into a new one, or do I get like a lower quality, just used one with really high kilometers? I just really don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's a great question, Kelly. Well, when we look at cars, I will tell you from the financial standpoint, when people lease cars or they take out a loan on a car, it's the hardest justification for me mathematically to go there. So I'll give you an example. Student loans. We're anti-student loans here. We're all about paying your way through school. But people can make the argument, yes, but I am getting this loan because I'm going to make X amount of salary and it's going to come back, right? Or a mortgage is the one type of debt we don't yell at you for because real estate will go up in value and it's a large purchase. Like, so the way I look at car debt specifically, it's the hardest one for me to logically understand because you're taking a loan out and paying interest on something that's going down in value when there are so many options out there that can be different. AKA, like you said, your third option was buying a used car with cash. And I would do that day in and day out. Car debts for me is the hardest debt to hear about because I think, oh my God, you're buying something that's going down in value, but yet you're going to be paying more for it on the back end. So if I were you, Kelly, if I woke up in your shoes, I would take that 10 grand and I would go and Kelly Blue Book or Craigslist, look, I mean, there are used cars everywhere. And you can get a great used car for $7 grand. Yeah. And you'd have $3,000 left over, a paid for car. It's not going to be fancy. It's not going to be beautiful probably, but you can get a standard great used car. It will have high mileage for $7,000 easily, Kelly, easily. So I would do that in a heartbeat. And again, we're not against nice cars here on the show. I want you to get a great car. I think that's awesome. But I want you to pay for it. And in your stage of life right now, I think that kind of car to transport back and forth would be totally sufficient and a very smart move financially.
And Kelly, I'll tell you this. I'm surrounded by car people. Rachel's a car person. Dave for sure.
Am
Anthony.
I?
Yes.
I just love Teslas.
You
it's the only kind of car.
Rachel's a car person.
I don't have a Tesla.
The cars in my house, my wife drives a 2010 and I drive an 06. And when my kid, I've told the story on this show, but when Hank crawled into the 2006 truck, because it was an upgrade from the 98 I was driving, he got in it and he looked around for a second. He looked at me and said, "Dad, are we rich?" And I was like, "Yes, we are." Right. So all I have to say is you can find a great used car in college for $5,000, and you can buy some sort of Honda or Toyota and drive it until the wheels. You're going to get frustrated because it's going to keep going and keep going and keep going, and that's absolutely keep some money in the bank, but do not lease a car there. All right, let's go to Ginny in Charlotte. Ginny, what's going on?
Oh, hi, Rachel and Dr. John. How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Great. Hey, I have a quick question for both of you since you are book writers. My mother, who was the most influential, amazing, talented, unique woman I've ever met, passed away about 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I have this dream to do a series of children's books about her life, obviously inspired, from how she raised, me. And I just wanted to get your opinion from both of you. Do I go with a vanity press? Do I do Amazon? How do I contact an illustrator? Like what? I literally don't even know where to start with all this, what goes into writing a book or... I would love your opinion.
Yes, that's so fun. I've had more conversations, Jenny. You're honestly like the 5th person I've talked to about writing books, like in the last 2 weeks.
And what a cool way to honor your mom. It's so
I know.
cool.
I love that. Yeah. So I think in today's world, it's the easiest time to write a book. I mean, 20 years ago, you kind of had to do the traditional publisher's route, and like it was kind of harder to have contacts and get stuff made and printed and all of that. But now I'm like, man, there's just options everywhere. So, I mean, in Charlotte, North Carolina, I'm sure there's a local artist somewhere that does drawings, multiple of them that you can research and look, Google, go on Instagram. I mean, like look around in your area, or even, it doesn't even have to be in Charlotte, and find someone that you love their style and contact them. You'll pay for them to do the illustrations after you've written the manuscript.
And my wife is actually shopping children's books right now.
Oh, there you go.
And so here's her story. She's deciding she's holding an offer right now, and she's also in where you are, Jenny, saying, should we just publish this ourselves? And I think it comes back to what you want to do with it. Do you want to do a small project that honors your mom and hand this book out to family and friends and maybe sell it to a few people? Of course, you want to become the next Shel Silverstein and make $1 million, but do you want to do this and pass it out? And in that case, you just self-publish it and get a great, cool local author to do that.
What do you want to do, Jenny, with it? What would be your dreams for the series?
Well, I know I'm biased, but my mother was literally like the best woman I've ever known. And I feel like a lot of people could benefit from all the things that she's taught me and how she raised us, and to make it like parent friendly, but also that a parent can read it to kids. And I think it could really explode. Again, I'm biased.
Sure.
No.
I think it could be more than just like a family pass out book.
Yeah. So what's Sheila
So
doing?
when you take a more traditional publisher route, you go to a conference, you meet with agents, and there's a whole process for tracking down agents and sending there's actually a manual that you can get out to track the agents down, and you email them, you make a pitch for your book. If you go through a traditional publisher, publishing house, they actually provide you with the illustrator. They tell you what the cover is going to look like, what the illustrator is going to look like, and so you give up a lot of control for the opportunity to have your book in Walmart and Barnes & Noble and whatnot. And so I would recommend getting in contact with either literary agencies, getting in contact with individual agents, and you can now with the internet you can just track them down, and you can find out who's publishing children's books, who's asking for children's books, and then you can get online and learn how to do a traditional pitch letter and have your manuscript and be ready to go that way.
Look at you, John. I'm
learning all kinds of stuff about this.
So Sheila's doing a book.
Yeah, well, she's working through all kinds of, she's a way better writer than I am. It's kind of embarrassing that this is what I do for a living. She's so much better at it than me. But yeah, I've learned a lot about how the process works. And again, it goes back, my wife's very similar, and the impetus for this was, how do we honor family?
Yes.
Right? And how do you tell a beautiful story about folks who meant something to you, which I think is a cool way to do that.
It's beautiful.
When you sit down to write a book, Rachel, you've written multiple bestsellers. Do you have something like a burning message that you want to get out? They think, hey, I gotta tell somebody this, or do you have some ideas that you want to wrap your head around? Or is that how you think? How do you sit down to write a book?
I mean, my 3 came out of experiences that I had.
Okay.
So I feel like I kind of experienced it before I wrote the book. And it came out of struggle, like the things that I'm like, oh, the aha moments in life, and the things that like, oh gosh, I've been struggling with this. So I'm sure, like Love Your Life Not There is all about comparison, right? I went through a whole season of that. And at the end of it, I was like, oh, this affects my money so much. And I want to write about it because I know people are struggling with it. So it's that, it's meeting the need as well.
That's a gift. So you should sit down and write a book to say, hey, I've walked this journey. I've still got skin and knees from this one.
Here's what I did.
You don't have to do this, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to go through this.
Hopefully.
You're so much more kinder than I am.
No.
I sit down to write a book and I got to process it, man.
Oh my gosh.
It's me working it out in my head. You're a much better person. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm John Deloney, joined here with best-selling author Rachel Cruz, taking your calls on money and life. 888-825-5225. Let's go to Nick out in Cincinnati, Ohio. Nick, what's going on, man?
Hi, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you great. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Very cool. Very good.
I am 17 years old and a junior in high school, and I am getting prepared to start looking for colleges, and I'm just trying to navigate the best way to figure out how I can pay for it while also setting myself up in the future for financial success.
Yeah, it's a great question, Nick. I feel like it's one that every high school student basically has to filter through. What am I going to do after graduation, and choosing if college is the next step. And so, what do you want to do? Do you have a passion right now for what you want to major in, or where you want to go to school? Kind of what are you thinking?
I would like to be in something that involves computer science. I've always had a love for technology ever since I was young, and I'd definitely like to expand into that as a potential career.
Well, that's a good career right now.
Yeah, very cool, Nick. Good for you.
People are you will get a job, Nick. I can say that much. That's awesome. Are your parents, are they involved at all on any level of the discussion or financially?
Yeah, so I have 3 other siblings as well. 2 of them have gone to college, and my parents are definitely supportive of whatever decision I want to go through. They are also helping me out. They've set aside money for me as well. They've taught me principles on saving money and all that, and they've really helped me out and are helping me to come to a decision. But now the biggest question is, how is it going to be paid for? And I'm just trying to do this in pretty much the path of least resistance.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, hold on. I would say the path of least resistance is to go sign up for a student loan and worry about it in 5 years. Don't do that.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, path of least resistance still to get me to financial success as close as I can.
So go to college debt free. Yes.
Right.
There you go.
I'm sure how to do that.
Yeah. So, I mean, a couple of things, Nick. I think the starting point is figuring out, okay, you said your parents are willing to help you some, but to get a dollar amount and to have a very clear communication with, okay, how much are they able to help me in this? And then from there, you can kind of look to see, okay, how much money will I have? Can I think that I estimate if I work all of this, how much I think I can cash flow? And school choice is going to be the biggest decision you make on a financial side. So you can, for instance, go to a private school, pay upwards of, I don't know, John, what?
You just
50,
pick a number.
50, 60.
$11 million per semester.
Whatever I mean, out the wazoo, the private school, you could go.
There's some private schools that are really reasonably priced, right? But it just goes back to that money problem.
Yes.
Question, right?
You could step over a state line and go, you're in Ohio, go to Indiana
and triple your cost.
Probably pay 3 times as much to go to that public school versus staying in Ohio. You could go to a community college, which will be probably your least expensive routes for a traditional college degree. Do that for a few years, all of it, right? So there's a gamut of the most expensive to the least.
Or if you want to do computer science, you can go to a local community college for 9 months and get a certificate.
Yes.
And get into the workforce, and then go to school on the side, go to school in the evenings, go to school 2 or 3 days a week, and work towards your degree while you're earning money along the way too.
And get, going to school for coding. I mean, there's all these other, these paths on that other side as well. So I mean, the biggest decision, Nick, honestly, it's going to come down to school choice. I mean, you can cash flow your way through a community college, through going, even at nights or something, just like you said. You could even cash flow your way through a state school. You could do that. But I would say for the ROI of what you put into your degree has to match with what you're going to get paid. And the problem is, Nick, is that people just go to whatever school they want to go to. They pay an insane amount of money when they could have had the exact same outcome and paid less for that degree because of school choice. So my biggest push to you is going to be school choice. So community college, in-state tuition. And then on top of that, I mean, scholarships and grants, free money. I mean, you can go there, and then working as well. So all of that combined, there is a way, Nick. I promise there's a way to go to school debt-free. But what you said at the beginning, the path of least resistance, I know you didn't necessarily mean that, because it's going to be hard. And it is. It's sacrificing and putting intentionality and work and energy for 4 years of your life. That's not going to be fun. Like, it's not fun, Nick. Like, you're like, oh my gosh, I want to be doing all this other stuff. Or maybe I have this dream to go to this other school, but I'm choosing not to. But you're doing that hard work from 18 to 21 so that the rest of your life you don't have student loan debts and you get to do what you want. You have options and choices. So there's a beauty in making the sacrifice early, even though it's not fun at the moment, versus having to pay for it into adulthood.
And for students and parents out there, for whatever it's worth, my mom, she's in her 70s. She's got a PhD. She's an English professor. She's an English professor now, worked as a controller in big accounting firms. She started in community college. I've got a bunch of degrees. My wife's got a PhD, and we're all in different things. And if my son came and said, hey, I'm 17 and I really want to get into computers, I would high five him on the way to a local community college if that's what he wanted to do. It would be an extraordinary place to start. I know those professors. I know community college presidents. They are setting kids up to be successful. Mm-hmm. And I'm a guy that's worked at multiple private schools, right? Yeah. And if we had the money and he comes and says, that's what I want to do, I'd high five him there too. But there's a stigma around certificate programs. There's a stigma around community colleges. And I think they're an extraordinary choice if that's what you want to do. And if they've got a program for you locally, you can maybe even live at home for a few years, Nick, and transfer out and knock off half the price. So as Rachel said, really get to where you want to go and reverse engineer it. We had a debt-free scream in a previous hour that she said something that was really powerful, Rachel. She said, I had this goal to be a stay-at-home mom, and I looked at my current situation and said, I couldn't just do that today. And so she went 1, 2, 3, however many years out, and just worked it back and said, that means I got to start living differently right this second. Mm-hmm. And I think that level of intentionality is something that's absent from our world today, right? Yes. It's the opposite. What's going to be the thing that it feels the best right this second, and then I'm going to deal with whatever happens on the back end. And man, with just some hard intentionality up front, you can really just shift your entire life in another direction.
And Nick, I mean, like, you're such in a great place. The fact that, how many calls we get on the other side of this story, right? With all the student loan debt and those questions. I mean, you are in a perfect position, Nick, to make a decision that literally can change you financially for the rest of your life versus paying student loans back, investing that money. I mean, it's crazy to think what all you can do right now with just a decision to say, okay, it's going to look different. It's not going to be what everyone else is doing. But so worth it.
So, Nick, I want you to hang on the line. We're going to give you a copy of our buddy Anthony O'Neill's best-selling book, Debt-Free Degree. And while we're talking about books, listen, our famous $10 sale is here at Ramsey Solutions. Now you can learn how to make faster and real progress with your money when you check out our famous $10 sale. Save up to 60% on over 40 best-selling books and budgeting tools like Debt-Free Degree, The Total Money Makeover, my book, Redefining Anxiety. Rachel's got like 38 best-selling books on this list. Know Yourself, Know Your Money is the most recent best-selling book that has taken the world over by storm. Shop our $10 sales at the online store at RamseySolutions.com. And that's not all. We've got a gift for you. You can also enter to win our Ramsey Cash giveaway. We're giving away $500 cash every week and a grand prize of $5,000 cash. Enter daily for extra chances to win. Text CASH to 33789. That's CASH to 33789. $10. Get online, RamseySolutions.com. Buy some books. $10. Change your life. We'll be right back. This is The Ramsey Show. This is the Ramsey Show, 888-825-5225. Let's go out to Bowen in Phoenix, Arizona. Bowen, what's going on?
Hi there. I am 23 years old, and I'm in college right now. I'm going to trade school for diesel, and my school tuition is about $24,000. I'm getting assistance from my parents through the VA, and that's about $10,000 total, or about $12,000 total. I'm currently working and making about $41,000 this year, and I have some debt, and I'm going to have my student loans too, and I'm just trying to figure out if I should be paying off the debt first or if I should be paying off the student loans, because I did have to get a Parent Plus loan, and so it would be paying off my parents' loan and not through the school. So I'm just trying to figure out if I should pay off the school or if I should pay off my debt, or because all my debt's sent to collection.
Yep. Okay, so how much longer of school? How much longer till you graduate?
Well, it's a trade school, so it's only a year-long program, and I've been in since December, so I got about 6 more months.
6 more months, okay. And how are you paying? You took out loans to go to this trade school?
What is it? What was that?
Did you take out a loan to go to this year of school?
Yeah.
Yes, you did, okay.
Hey, you're making $41,000. What are you in collections over? You're making a good salary. How are you behind on your debts?
So I just recently was released back into society. I was in prison for 2 years.
Okay.
And so all that debt was acquired from making pretty bad life choices.
There you
and, starting bank accounts and over withdrawing and stuff like that, and, things like that. And
so you're grinding it out, cleaning up a mess.
sitting.
You turned a page. You're
Exactly, yeah.
You're a brave guy getting back into it, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm proud of you, brother.
So thank you. So I've been out since November.
Okay.
And so I've just been working since then, and I'm just trying to figure out what I should be doing, because, that stuff kind of really sucks, and it just makes me upset thinking about it all the time. And then, but then on the other hand, I have my school, and there's no interest for the first 6 months after I graduate as well. And so,
how'd you get connected with us, Bowen?
my grandma, she actually watches your show or listens to it, and then everybody at my work, this is the radio station in all the cars. So.
Okay.
It's awesome. Well, Bowen, yeah, I'll echo what John said. You have an extraordinary story. I mean, the fact that you've had the past and you've come out and you're going to school now and you're changing up your life. I think it's remarkable, and I think you're going to kill it financially. I think you can do this, Bowen. I mean, you're making a great salary right now. Another question for you: the debts that are in collections, what are those debts and how much?
So I have 2 emergency room visits. So those 2 put together is like $3,000. And then I have a phone debt that's around $2,000 from Verizon. And then I have some bank accounts where I had the overdraft on it. And so I was withdrawing money or whatever. And so there's about another $4,000 total for all of that as well.
Okay. And then your student loan is what's left, correct?
Yeah. And so my parents, their loan was for $9,000, and then my loan is for the rest. And then I did get a Pell Grant, and that was like for $3.
Okay.
So 9 and 3, so that's 12. And then so my loan altogether is like 11.
Yep, I got you. Okay. That's awesome. Well, I would say where you're at, with the income you have, I would love for you to pay off what's in collections. I think that's going to be a weight lifted off your shoulders. And you have the income coming in. I mean, that $41,000. What we teach, Bowen, is paying off the smallest debt to the largest, regardless of the interest rate, and paying minimum payments on everything and attacking that smallest debt first. So as quickly as you can get current on the debts that are in collections, I would do that first and foremost, making a plan of that. Since you have the income, we had a call just like this a few segments ago, Bowen, about the fact that the debts that are in collections, you can negotiate for pennies on the dollar and, be able to reduce this amount that's in collections. You can choose that. Or you may say, you know what, I have the income coming in and I want to just pay off the debt. I know this $2,000 here, that $3,000 here, $4,000 here. I want to pay it off. But I would get current with where you can and then start working on those smaller debts that are in collections. And then once you graduate in December, start knocking out that $11,000 in student loans. And Bowen, I mean, I'll be honest with the numbers you're giving us and that we're seeing, like your life financially can look so different a year from now. Like you can look up, February, March of 2022 and you will be debt free. If you stick with this and you do this, you could have no debt. You're starting a completely clean slate financially, but also emotionally and with your life. I think it's just amazing.
So Bowen, if we help you out, are you committed to going all in?
Oh yeah, that's the plan. I'm just, I'm also trying to figure out how to do, investments and start different accounts and stuff like that, because that's all my grandma keeps telling me. And then, but that's,
So here's what we're going to do,
Bowen. Get all the big things paid off.
Here's what we're going to do. You've had a hard row and you got out of jail and you are doing your best to turn it around. And you put your nose to the grindstone, you started working, you're making a good salary, and then on top of that, you're going back to school. And now what you need is some people in your corner that are going to match your hard work and are going to support you. So here's what I'm going to do. Rachel and I are going to send you a copy of The Total Money Makeover for free. It's Dave's book. It's sold millions of copies, and it has gotten people out of debt. But I'm only going to send it to you if you commit to reading it start to finish, okay? And it will walk you through an investment strategy. It'll walk you through how to live. And hold on, I'm also going to give you a year's subscription to our premium product, Ramsey Plus. It's got an app that will link with your bank account, so no more overdrafts. It's going to teach you how to do it right, and it's going to keep up with you. Like how to budget. It's going to have all of the lessons of Financial Peace University that you can watch. And I want you to watch it with your grandmother, because you're not only getting your money right, you're getting relationships right too, right? And with your parents too. Let's get everybody in the loop on this deal. And this is what it's going to have. You can have coaching calls on this thing. It's going to be a tool. It's going to be a one-stop shop from you for the next year as you finish cleaning up this mess. And as Rachel, I love the clean slate relationally with the people who love you, the clean slate financially. And then, brother, you're going to have a credential. You're going to have some new skills. You clearly have work ethic. You've clearly turned things around. And then you're going to be off to the races. And then when you get cleared up, the last thing I'm going to hitch to you is you're going to buy a copy with your own money of Total Money Makeover. You're going to give it to somebody else who needs it. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so, hey, we're backing you, and now all you've got is a road of hard work, but you have a direction now where you can go. And I'm proud of you, and we're going to walk alongside you. I want you to call us back and keep us informed. If you ever need anything, let us know, and we want you to know we're in your corner. And, Rachel, it goes, man, we hear so many excuses on this show. So many people call and say, hey, I'm making $175,000 and I really want this new BMW, but I don't want to trade in my old one. And can we, you know what I mean? And then you talk to someone like Bowen, who's clearly, all right, screwed up. And then he got up and he dusted himself off. He let other people help him pick him up. And now he's off to make right.
It's amazing. I love it. Bowen, I'm excited for you.
It's awesome. Well, Rachel, thank you so much for joining us. Kelly, James, and happy birthday, Kelly. Happy 21st birthday. We're so excited. This is a big one. She can gamble now, good folks. Another segment in the books. Thank you for joining us. This has been The Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, this is James, senior producer for The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? And a lot of those people listen on one of our 600 plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, head to theramseyshow.com.
This is The Ramsey Show.
You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career.
You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studio. This is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your money and your life. I am John Deloney, joined here with best-selling author and brilliant friend Rachel Cruz, and we're taking your calls on anything and everything on your money, your relationships, parenting, all of it. Give us a call at 888-825-5225. 888-825-5225. We have a lobby full of people here today. It's good to see everybody's smiling faces, even the not-so-smiling faces. It's good to see everybody. And Rachel, it's always fun to have you on the show. I'm glad you're here, man.
I know. Thanks, John. Always fun.
All right, let's go out to Cincinnati, Ohio, and talk to Noah. Noah, what's going on?
Hey, John and Rachel. It's a huge honor to talk to you. Thanks so much for taking my call.
The honor is all ours. What's up, man? How can we help?
So my wife and I are in baby steps 4, 5, and 6. I'm a registered nurse, and I have the opportunity to go back to school to become a nurse practitioner. I'm looking at going full-time. My wife and I have looked at the cost and crunched the numbers, and we're able to cash flow the cost of school for the next 2 years. My question is, a lot of employers offer tuition reimbursement for nurse practitioners along, in other jobs. But in order to get tuition reimbursement, you have to have student loans. So I was wondering, would it make sense rather than paying it off as I go and cash flowing it, rather to just stockpile a bunch of cash to pay off school? And if I'm able to get tuition reimbursement through my employer, great. They can help me pay off some or all of it. And if not, I can just, if I can just pay it all off after I graduate with one stroke of a pen. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. I would say I would not take out loans and just, write the check at the end. If you have the money, no, I would pay your way through. But there's also another option. Because companies do reimburse tuition, if there is an employer that you could get on board with before you start school and they could help pay your way through as you work maybe at a lower level position in the company until you get the degree, or whatever that looks like, there's an option there that I've heard many people do, that they will go and work for a company and that employer helps pay their way through. So that's another angle to look at.
What's the benefit? Is it just time? Is that why you're going to go full time instead of working your way through it?
Yeah, so my plan is to work full-time and go to school full-time. Most programs like this are designed for working adults. So
I'm sorry. I thought you said you were going to quit working and go full-time. Okay. So you're going to work full-time and go to school full-time.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Outstanding. So does your current employer offer a tuition reimbursement?
They do, but it's like, and I need to get with HR to know the details on it, but it's like $1,000 a year or something that is, it's better than nothing, but it doesn't really come close to.
And is that the same employer you want to be with after you get this degree, or will you change?
I'm certainly open to staying with my current employer. I like my employer, but I'm not married to that idea.
Sure.
So here's what I would do, Noah. I would not. It's been my experience that a number of these tuition reimbursement programs end up being like what you're experiencing now. It's, hey, we reimburse tuition. It's an incredible benefit. And you get in there and you sit down and it's $1,000. $1,000 is $1,000 and no one's going to complain about it. But in your head, it's like, oh, sweet, you're going to pay $35,000 of this program. The other side of it is the ones that again, there may be different ones. The ones I know of personally come with strings attached, meaning we're going to pay you back, but you're going to owe us 4 years.
Yeah.
You're going to owe us 3 years, or if you work this particular shift, then we're going to pick it up at this level. Here's what I'm going to tell you. In my head, you've worked hard. You can cash flow this thing. You're going to pay it all the way through. and then you're going to have no strings to anybody at any time for anything. And that'd be my recommendation.
That makes sense.
What I don't want you to do is to get all the way through, and then you're going to start having to look at particular job options based on how good this particular benefit is, rather than how good the particular job is for your family and what your family's going to look like in 2 or 3 years. And so, man, that nurse practitioner degree is going to be gold. You're going to be able to do and go pretty much wherever you want to go. Don't add in another variable to that equation, which is what's your tuition reimbursement program. Man, I'd go down to the current job you've got now and take their $1,000, or see if you can negotiate that up, or man, pay this first semester and get on the market and start trying to find another job in your area that's going to have a higher tuition reimbursement program. And I've seen it, the most common way I've seen it done is, or the way mine worked was, I would pay my tuition and then I would just take a copy of the bill that I just paid and they would reimburse that. I didn't have to have a student loan to come in there and do that.
Yeah,
so,
lots of options around it.
That's our recommendation, man. Appreciate the call and good luck to you, man. You're gonna be a busy guy working full time and going to a doctoral program full time. Good for you. All right, Jessica in Houston. What's going on, Jessica?
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So I was calling because I have finished baby step 2 and 3. My husband and I on baby step 4.
Congrats.
And thank you so much. Thank you. And I have a 401k with a previous company that I was with that is still there. I am no longer with that company. And the reason why I didn't originally move it over, because I was silly and I took money out of my 401k, but I've paid it all back. But I wanted to know if I should roll over my 401k to the current company that I'm with, or if I should just let it sit where it is.
Yeah, that's a great question, Jessica. I would say the first thing I would do is get with one of our smart vestors in your area and sit down with them, because the best option is to not leave it there and not roll it over to your new employer. I would roll it over to just a traditional IRA. If you want to pay the taxes, you can roll it into a Roth, but just roll it into, more of an independent, just traditional IRA. And you can do that with one of our Smart Investor Pros, an investment professional, to help you work on all those details. But that would be my suggestion.
That way, if you move it to your new company and then 2 or 3 years down the road, you get a new job, you're not always rolling these things over. You've got a central account that is yours, that you control, that you partner with a Smart Investor Pro on. And then if you leave your company in a few years, you can take what you've accrued to this company and roll it back to the account that you own.
Yeah.
But it keeps you from rolling them from company to company.
Yes.
And I hear that I was dumb. I should have. Hey, man, it took me a long time, years, to go back and go, oh, I still got a 401 at this place and a 403 at this place, and to get it all into one place.
It's a lot.
It's a mess, and I was ashamed of it and embarrassed about it. And then my Smart Investor Pro that I work with was like, man, I deal with this every single day.
Totally.
Just get over yourself and stop whining Deloney, and let's line this stuff up and get you and your family on the road to success. So it's a good deal. Good for you, Jessica. I appreciate the call. This is The Ramsey Show. We'll be right back. Hang with us.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
This is The Ramsey Show. I'm John Deloney, joined here with Rachel Cruz, and we're taking your calls at 888-825-5225. According to the United States Census Bureau, nearly 1 in 10 people relocated last year. That was in 2020. That means this year, there's a good chance you or someone you know is planning a big move. Rachel, we've talked about this in the hallway.
Yes.
The real estate market has lost its mind. Now, I know it feels like there's 1,000 unknowns you're juggling when you're relocating. Should I buy? Where should I buy? Can we even buy? You cannot lose focus of one of the most important personal and financial factors in your move, your housing. I recommend hiring a quality real estate agent like one of our endorsed local providers or ELPs that help you find the right home in your new city. They're top performing experts, not friends of your friend's brother's grandma's roommate, but they are top performing experts in their local market and have years of experience helping folks just like you. To get connected with an ELP endorsed local provider agent, text HOUSE to 33789. That's HOUSE to 33789. All right, let's go to Stephen in, I just learned this recently, Louisville, Kentucky. Stephen, what's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing today? Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you. And I just need to shout myself out. I did not say Louisville. I learned the other day. It's Louisville.
Louisville.
It's just a word spilling out your mouth. All right, so what's up, Stephen? How can I help, man?
So my wife and I are trying to decide if we should sell one vehicle. We dropped from about $90,000 in income down to $65,000 when we made the decision to homeschool, and we owe about $20,000 on our last debt, which is student loans.
And so, tell us your car situation.
Everything's paid off except for the student loans. The one vehicle is worth about $18,000, and the one is worth about $20,000.
Okay. Well, our rule of thumb is you don't want things you own with wheels and engines to be more than 50% of your annual income. So you're at 65, it's 38. I mean, you're kind of like right there. I mean, on that line, Stephen. So I don't think the cars are your big problem. I mean, yeah, you don't owe money on them, and it's not this insane amounts that you have, that have wheels on it sitting in your driveway. That seems unreasonable. Yeah. So I think if I were you, I mean, I think you're fine. I think I would just start chipping away at that.
Grind it out.
At that $20,000. I would. I mean, if you want to sell it, Stephen, you can. If you think,
it's just a discussion we've been having.
Yeah, I don't think
we've been on this journey. We've paid off about $100,000 so far.
Wow!
Congratulations, man!
20.
Congrats! That's
amazing.
We've
been doing it for a while.
Yes.
But Stephen, hey, listen, brother, you are so close. You're so close.
I know, and if you have that taste in your mouth and you both agree, and you're like, you know what, sell it. We're going to drive a beater just to be done. You can do that. Absolutely, it's not necessary. But yeah, I mean, it's always an option. Okay. Yep, always an option.
Can your family operate on one vehicle?
We can, yeah. Like I say, she's a stay-at-home mom now. I'm doing homeschool, so it could be done. I've got a company vehicle.
Well, right now, my wife's a stay-at-home mom, and she puts more miles on the car than I do by triple or quadruple, right? You say you've got a company vehicle, so you actually have two paid-for cars at home, and getting you around during the day is your company car?
Correct.
Okay.
So I'd sell that sucker today.
Yeah, you could do that.
Okay. All right.
And then you just need to call Kelly back soon, and you can get on here and do your debt-free screen.
We're looking forward to it.
How long have you guys been cracking away at this thing?
Honestly, I think we started out kind of Dave-ish, and I think we've been at it for about 5 years now.
Awesome. Well, $100,000, y'all have made a huge stride, Stephen. So congrats. It's awesome.
Congratulations. And I don't want to lose sight. It's allowed them this close to do something. Hey, let's stay at home. Let's start homeschooling.
Yeah,
and awesome. You can make these values decisions when you don't have the money hanging over you. So good for you, Stephen. All right, let's go to Alicia in Fargo. What's up, Alicia? How we doing?
Hi. Thank you for taking my call.
Thanks for calling. How can we help?
So I will be getting custody of my 6-year-old son in August, and I'm kind of curious how to adjust our budget. I've been kind of putting a little bit of money towards some schooling and stuff, getting certifications for classes so I can teach doing personal training. And so I'm kind of wondering if I should back off on some of that stuff. Me and my husband already had to move into a different apartment, and so we have, more expenses where that's, coming from, and then just like unexpected expense of having a kid again in the house. So just like feeling a little anxious about how it's all going to play out. And, we're on baby step 2, and we paid off almost half of our debt within the first year.
Awesome.
But then yes, thank you. But this last 6 months with all these changes and trying to invest in a side hustle of sorts, I've seen that, that number's steadily going down, and it's kind of disheartening. And, adding a kid to the mix just kind of makes me want to put my foot on the gas and get this debt taken care of. So I'm wondering if I should, stop with the school stuff and just, really focus on just trying to save money in the budget.
What's the custody arrangement? You say you're taking back full custody?
Yeah. So I'm a recovering addict, and when I was using, I lost custody of my son about 3 years ago, and me and my husband, we're both 2 years clean now. We've totally turned things around.
Awesome.
My mom has my son, and so it's a very cordial arrangement. We're just transferring the custody back to me, and my husband will then be adopting my son.
Alicia, I'm so proud of you.
It's amazing.
What
amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And as a mom, I'm like, getting your son back. I mean, what a beautiful, like honestly, brings tears to my eyes, because I'm like, it's a beautiful new beginning, this like renewal of your life. And you guys have worked hard in so many aspects, and obviously the financial side is why you called, but just a bigger picture, Alicia. Like, I mean, it's just, it's incredible, absolutely incredible what you guys are doing. But to answer your question on a tactical level, what we find with people getting out of debt, the deeper they're willing to sacrifice, and that's lifestyle, that's future dreams, that's, everything. The more they're just like, you know what, this is our singular focus, no distractions, nothing, we are getting this paid off, the faster they pay it off. Obviously, it's a mathematical equation at that point. So I think I would ask you, to look out 2-3 years to say, okay, what are your goals? What are you wanting to do? Could you do the certification in 9 months and stop, pause right now and pay off this debt, get it cleaned out, wiped off, and then be able to build that life off of that, financial foundation of no debt. Do you want to do both? Because you're trying to do both right now, and you're feeling the weight of, I'm not making the progress, and it's that disheartening. So I would say, you and your husband, I would make that decision as a family. You called the Ramsey Show, so of course my knee jerk is like, pause everything and pay that debt off, because you're going to get so many options and have that peace of mind. But that's what I would do. But again, you guys talk as a family and say, okay, do we want the certification, and it's going to take a little bit longer to pay off the debt? That's a decision you guys would make. And then I would say this to Alicia, as he comes back into your life, and you asked, about adjusting the budget. You will have expenses, obviously, having another member of the family, but be careful not to have the guilt and the shame from your past to overcompensate of any of that you're feeling on buying stuff for him and the money portion. So he is.
How old is he?
He's 6. Is that what you said?
He's 6.
6, yeah. So some parents I know, whether it's a divorce or they're getting custody like this, there's a guilt of, I want to provide this amazing life, and they end up spending so much out of that, and it's a beautiful motivation, but it's out the wrong way. So just be aware.
Alicia, I've worked with addicts for my entire career. I want to see you crush this debt. I want you to pause everything. I want you and your husband to go bananas, pay this off. And that victory is going to fuel you. It's going to give you a lift. It's going to take those shame bricks out of your backpack. And like Rachel said, I want you to get a sleeve of tennis balls and go to a local playground. You're going to have the time of your life with your kid. He's going to be so excited to be with mom.
So fun.
You don't need video games. You don't need nothing. You need some tennis balls in your heart.
Stop paying your overpriced wireless provider and switch to Pure Talk. They use the same network as the larger providers for much less. For just $30 a month, get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data with no contract. The average family saves over $70 a month by switching to Pure Talk. Just go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, simply smarter wireless.
Blinds.com's 100% satisfaction guarantee means even if you mismeasure or pick the wrong color, they'll remake your blinds for free. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use promo code Ramsey to get the best deal.
All right, today's question comes from Nick in Michigan. I'm considering leaving my career where I earn $130,000 a year to support my wife's career. Her company asked her to relocate for a better position, and we are on board. We currently earn $270,000 a year, have $1.5 million in net worth, $1.3 in investments. Her income will grow, but it will not fully replace mine, and I'll be a stay-at-home dad if we move. I think we would still be on track to hit our future goals, and our financial advisor agrees. Should we take this risk for the betterment of our family? Sure.
This is not a risk.
Go, Nick.
Yeah. Brother, you got $1.5 million, and your wife, she already earns $140. She's going to, let's say she's going to earn another $100, right? Brother, there's nobody starving. This is awesome.
Yep.
And you're going to be a stay-at-home dad. Your kids are going to love having you in their life more. I think this is a no-brainer.
For sure.
Not even think about it.
Yep. I know. And so what's interesting is I'm like, I love this show because you get calls from every spectrum of income, every spectrum of walk of life. I mean, all of it. And so you get the ones that are, paying off, $20,000 in debt, making $17,000, bumped up to 32, And then this is like, oh, whoa, it's 6 figures we're talking about. And it's almost like when you get comfortable in this situation, it's so uncomfortable to kind of shake it up. It feels like a risk because you're so used to that amount. But listen, Nick, this is what you guys have been working hard. Like you've been doing the right stuff. So
for this moment.
Yeah. So now you get to really step out and make a change for your family.
Rachel, I hadn't thought about that until just now. This is why having people in your life is important that are all over the spectrum, but ultimately live different lives than you, because I think it's easy to step back. I mean, to not step back, to get so involved. And I can see him and his wife sitting there biting their nails saying, hey, we had this goal of $5 million.
Sure.
And all we have now is 1.3 or 1.5 or what. Could we do this? And you need that buddy in your life that's like, what are you talking? Yes, moved yesterday. What are you doing? Right?
Do you know what it is fascinating. It reminds me of like the golden handcuffs mentality, right?
Absolutely.
Like you're getting paid well. Life is real good.
Yeah.
And if we take off these, but yet I'm stuck in a life I don't really want. Like the way he says it, it's like, oh, the betterment of our family would be to make this move. And my wife is so excited, her position, I get to be stay-at-home dad. Like it's all positive. But these golden handcuffs keep us in a position just because of the money. And life is so much more than that, And
anytime you start a question with, or end a question with, ... for the betterment of our family, you're probably in the right track.
Yeah.
Right? If whatever this thing is going to be, if it's going to make your family better. Rachel, I want to touch on this right at the break. James was giving me a hard time at the break because I ended the call with, all your kid really wants is your heart and some tennis balls, man. He wants to just spend time with you. And I realized I said that kind of dumb. But you've written a book on contentment. And so this last call is about, hey, man, we lost custody of our kid. We are moving to another apartment. And we are grinding, and I'm about to get my kid back after all of this stuff, all this shame, all this climbing and clawing and scratching. It's the same sentiment to this call, which is, hey, should I take a $130,000 pay cut? I'm going to change my identity, become a stay-at-home dad for this $270,000. It all comes back to this idea of comparison and contentment. What's best for us, right? You wrote a book on that. Parents trying to say, do we have enough? Do we have enough? And then you've got this. We've talked to parent after parent who's like, I just need to buy my kids affection. I need to make up for what was. Talk to folks who struggle with that. That I'm only as good as my ability to keep up with my neighbors, right?
Of what everyone else is doing, right? Yeah. I mean, oh gosh, it's a rat in a wheel mentality. That's always the picture I have, because I'm like, you just run after something, and you get nowhere. You get nowhere. And sadly, this is our culture. Like, this is our
it's the
world.
Air we breathe,
this
right?
is the country we live in, where it's like stuff, the bigger the better, the upgrade. That's what it's just, and you run and you get the upgrade, you buy the bigger thing, and you just keep on going. It's like this race that never ends, and you never gain traction. And it's sad because it steals the beauty of your life and your relationships and all of that. And this show, we talk about money management to get you to a point, people that are listening, to say, okay, I don't want money to control me. Money controls me in so many ways, whether it's emotional, whether it's debt, it's my choices. My money is telling me what to do, and to flip that on its head and say, no, I'm going to control my money. I'm going to make a plan and get out of debt. I'm going to live on a budget so my money doesn't tell me what to do. I'm going to do these things to set myself up where money's on an idle, where my stuff isn't an idle. And that's the beauty of it. Like that's a part of the journey that you have to take on. So it's the math side. Yes. We say it all the time, but gosh, that emotional side can be as damaging.
And then you throw kids into the mix. We've just been dealing with this at our house. My son came home, and he's in 5th grade. Dad, I'm the only kid in my class without fill in the blank, a cell phone and a TikTok account, and luckily his mom and I have been telling him for years, because we knew this was coming. Hey, we're gonna go ahead and tell you up front, your parents are weird, and we're sorry but not sorry, right? And feel free to tell your friends, I don't have any of that stuff because my parents are lame. You can use us. You can blame us.
Totally.
But at the end of the day, man, your kids don't want stuff. They just want you.
Yes.
Right? You can go to Walmart and get a $19 Zebco, man, and go spend every Saturday for their childhood. And they're going to, man, that's so much more valuable than the next Xbox and the next thing, and bigger, right? But it's so hard. And Rachel, it's been my experience, moms got this way worse. Yes. Dads, we look at each other at the baseball field, but, and I might think, that baseball bat's $400. Like, that's a lot. He's going to grow out of it in a week. But there's an industry designed to keep moms from having stable feet on the sidewalk, right?
To keep it, so much that's against it. And what's funny too is I'm like, our kids are so much like adults. Like, I learn so much from my kids, and Amelia will say, her new thing, and I'm like, well, it makes me cringe a little bit, but she does. She's like, I'm bored, Mom. I'm bored. And we have a playroom full of toys.
I've been in it. It's the size of my home.
It's awesome. No, it's not that big. But I'm like, in my head, I'm like, there's a playroom. There's a garage with bikes and stuff. Like, there is stuff to do. Yeah. But I look at her, I'm like, I'm so glad you're bored. Now you're forced to figure out something. You now get to use your mind and do something different now. But as adults, that's what we do. Oh, I'm bored. I need to go on Amazon and buy something. You know what I'm saying? Like, how often we may not say it verbally, but our emotions are that, and that causes that emotional spending too. So we just have to watch that stuffitis, is what Dad would say, but it is. I'm like, it's a thing that we think is going to fulfill and cause contentment, and it does the opposite.
I even saw somebody yesterday, and they're probably working on this right now, so you know who you are, was just looking at homes on a computer. I said, are you moving? No. I moved like 4 or 5 years ago. I'm just checking out this, and I was thinking,
see what's going on.
I did that so much, right?
Yes.
Just to see what's the neighbor's house and how's this going to be. But it just becomes more stuff, and it's so I fight it, Rachel. I fight it. But you buy this thing, and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna hang on to this for a few years so that I can. Instead of just enjoying this thing that I got.
Right. Totally.
It's so good, right? My home gym, it's as good now until I can one day, I'm going to build this thing.
This thing over here.
It's a pretty good gym, man. It's pretty good. And Rachel's.
You got a gym.
Super atomic minivan that can basically It's basically a SpaceX minivan. And all I hear is about, but one day the Tesla, right, Rachel?
I know, I do it too. Man, tastes like vinegar.
One day.
Do you know that movie? Name that movie. The Blind Side. Anyone?
Sorry, I'm too busy playing with my kids to watch movies, Rachel.
Yeah,
That's cool.
she's got it. She's
Tastes like vinegar. Tastes like vinegar, America. We'll be right back. This is The Ramsey Show. Today's scripture of the day is from Numbers chapter 6, verses 24 through 26. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. Arthur Ashe says, start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. Man, Rachel, that makes me think of the debt-free caller from earlier today. Oh. $17,000 is what her annual income was, and she says, we start today.
Yep.
We start today. And then 11 months later,
where
she's almost making double. She crushed it. It's awesome. All right, let's go out to Green Bay, Wisconsin, and talk to Ayanda. What is going on, Ayanda? How are we doing?
Good, thank you. How are you guys doing?
We're doing so good. How can we help?
Thank you so much for taking my phone call.
You got it.
So my question for today was, my husband and I are currently on baby steps 4, 5, and 6.
Excellent.
And so we are investing our 15%, as well as getting a match from both of the places we work at, which adds up to about 12% extra.
Wow,
and then
cool.
We also, yeah, thank you. And we also have 529s for 3 of our kids. They aged 1, 3, and 5 that we're putting into. And then we pay, obviously, our mortgage, and we've been doing extra payments. But still, at the end of the month, we have close to about $2,000 that gets left over in our budget. And so my question was, do we throw more money on top of the extra money of the mortgage that we're doing? Or could we actually start maybe looking at, like, investing that extra money we have left over in the month? So that was kind of like my question or our dilemma at the moment.
What do you guys do for a living? Y'all are crushing it.
Sure. My husband's in sales. I was actually a stay-at-home mom for a while, and then the last 2 years, I actually picked up 3 part-time jobs. So,
wow.
What
was the motivation for that? To get moving financially, or you just wanted to fill your time?
Sure, yeah. So our kids are actually aged 1, 3, and 5. So last year I actually called in and we were on baby step 2, and I got to speak to Dave, and we only had our car payments that we had. And right after I got off the phone, we had an emergency fund, and we just paid that off immediately. We're like, okay. And then we just kind of got moving after that. So we kind of have an emergency fund of about 8 months that we've got in our savings.
Great job.
Right now.
Great job.
Incredible.
And so you're investing, you said 12%.
No, 15%, and then the company
and then it's additional. Okay, I gotcha.
So that's 27% of your income is being invested right now.
Yes, towards our retirement. And I think we have about 250 in total at the moment.
Okay.
That's already in our retirement.
And that percentage, does that include the employer's match? No.
So the 15% is just what we put in of our income.
Okay.
And then the match comes in. My husband's company, he's got better benefits, so they match him 10% at his job.
10%. So that's there. Okay. So you guys are sticking to that 15% of your own income.
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah. So
Mhm.
beyond that, I mean, honestly, I would throw the extra at the mortgage for sure. I think that 15% is going to get you guys in a great spot when you reach retirement, and you'll be able to bulk up your investing even more after that mortgage is paid off. So I would get that house paid off as quickly as possible, which you guys are doing, which is awesome. And I'll say this too, because I'm the spender of the Ramsey personalities, is that you can breathe a little too. You guys are in a great position. You know, we say to have, you know, the pedal down real fast on baby steps 1 through 3. Lots of sacrifice. Like you said, you got your 3 part-time jobs and you are just busting it. And then once you have that emergency fund, where you guys are at, you can take a little bit of a deep breath. You can enjoy some life. So just remember that. But if you do have that consistent income at the end of the month that you're saying you don't have a budget for it, then yes, the answer would be throw it at the mortgage.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. That's
Yes.
what we were kind of looking for and trying to see, because in all of this, he gets paid a bonus at the end of the year that we just kind of throw a lump sum towards the mortgage.
I love it. Oh, y'all are going to kill it. That's amazing.
Well,
Absolutely amazing.
Dave said this the other day. When I was on the show with him, and I actually wrote it down and went home, and my wife and I planned a vacation. So I've become, you know, we bought a house earlier this year. Rachel, I hate owing people money. It drives me crazy. And so we have been treating our house payment as though we're in emergency step 1, right?
Yes.
Like let's whatever extra pennies we have. And Dave's line was that those first few baby steps, you got to be intense.
Yep.
And then the other ones, you got to be intentional. But you got to live, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm always telling people to live, and I thought, what am I doing, man? We at least got to go have some memories, right? So
Totally.
We're gonna get away we're gonna take an afternoon this year. Just kidding. We're gonna get away.
I'm going to take 2 hours off of work.
That's right. I'm gonna take the kids to McDonald's, and we're gonna call it. All right, let's go to Bridget in Columbia Falls. What's going on, Bridget? How we doing?
Hi, guys. I'm so excited to talk to you. And actually, while I've been on hold, I just got a job offer, which was part of my question.
Oh, my gosh. That's amazing.
See, you don't even have to talk to us. Just get on the line, and we'll save your life. Well, congratulations.
Pretty much.
Is this a good job? Are you excited about it or what?
Yeah, actually, I was really worried because right now we're just on my husband's income and we're on baby step 3B. And I was working kind of part-time seasonal job. And I decided, I was like, I really need a bigger shovel if we're going to do this. So I applied for a bigger job. But of course, those always take longer. So it's like been 2.5 weeks. And being on one income where we live, we're in a destination area. So our bills are a little bit more. So it's definitely really tight. So I was feeling kind of desperate, actually, on the call. And then I got a phone call about the job offer because I was like, shoot, I just need to make cash now. And I have a side business that I'm trying to kick off the ground that's in sales. It's in health and wellness. It's health coaching, but obviously that takes longer than you think. So actually I, after this call, I'm driving down for an impromptu interview for a different position, but yeah.
So great. Well, do you have a question now, or did it get answered because you got the offer?
I think it got answered because I got the offer.
Okay, there you go. Well, it was so great to talk to you.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be the first to congratulate you.
Yeah, congrats.
And I think that's the lesson for
Thank
America.
you, yeah.
I think, actually, Rachel, that may be the best thing we've done all day.
I think
our advice isn't super great, but man, if you can hang on the line and click over and get a job opportunity.
Your life can change.
If you can get connected to Kelly in any shape, form, or fashion.
That's what you need to do.
And get through there. And by the way, it wouldn't be a good idea if we let the day go. It is Kelly's birthday. We're excited that she's turning 21 today. This is a big day. It's going to feel weird buying lottery tickets on your way home. Don't do it, Kelly. Don't do it. But we are excited for you.
So funny.
No, seriously, how old are you?
She's not listening.
She's not listening. How old are you, Kelly? 63? I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, my gosh.
I was going to say you're a beautiful 63, but you're 47. Okay.
I said, Kelly, you look like, I mean, literally, if I were to guess, I would have thought for sure early 40s.
See, I would have thought
Honestly.
33 max. Capital MAX.
Oh, my goodness.
And James, your birthday was yesterday.
It was?
Yeah, he's 72.
Was it? I don't know.
Oh, yeah. We don't know. But now the internets know, James. Hey, by the way, James, while I've got you, I want to thank you for a great show today. Kelly, happy birthday.
Happy
thank
birthday,
you
Kelly. We
for
love
joining
you.
us. Rachel, as always, is super fun. And to
John.
everyone listening, thank you for joining us. Treat each other kindly. Be nice. Say you're sorry. And do your best to get out of debt. This has been The Ramsey Show.
Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.